the last 10 years of my tenure with the Charleston Police Department, I was our strategic planning officer. So I was responsible for bringing developing innovative projects and initiatives. And so one of the things that we had started to really look at and hear about is emotional intelligence. So began to do a little research on emotional intelligence and realize that there's an appraisal that we can have that can introspectively tell us about ourselves. And I was like, wow, I was just so intrigued by that. Some events that happened nationally that really actually spurred this really moving forward. And that one major event was the death of George Floyd. I just remember that day happening, and I was retired then, but man, I had such a feeling within me to ask the question, what can we do? What can we do to prevent that from happening again? Because a lot of that was emotionally charged, and not being able to separate the emotional brain and the emotional decisions from the rational decisions. Emotional intelligence was new. 99% of the officers had never heard of it before. And so going into the training for the first time, it was very interesting because we caught resistance. There's a lot of things in policing that are in the news that are politicized. Policing in America is being challenged like never before, and rightfully so, because lives are at stake. And unfortunately, we saw a man die before our eyes on national TV. And so those are things that we shouldn't become desensitized to. Once they receive the information, from the time that we started the class to the time that we entered the class, man, we saw light bulbs come on with every single officer. And they were just amazed of having a tool that allowed them to introspectively understand who they are and what drives their decision making. And as a result, you began to hear comments, man, this is really going to help me as I engage with folks and help me to be more effective. The forces had dropped significantly. Officer misconducts had dropped significantly. And so we knew that this is the tool that was needed. This was the tool that many of my officers had been asking. And as a matter of fact, we knew then that everybody in the state needed to have this resource. So one of the things that we were able to do is take the book that we use from TalentSmartEQ. It's called Emotional Intelligence 2.0. In that book, it has an actual appraisal that you can take, online appraisal. We sent a book to every one of the staff members of Senator Manchin's office. They took the appraisal. We had our 1-hour presentation in which Senator Manchin was on the call. And during the call, once he heard the merits of what we were trying to accomplish, he said, I would love for you all to apply for directed spending funding and Senate appropriation funding. And we were like, wow, yes, that could be the key to taking away that barrier of cost for these different departments. I had never had anything like this. 25 and a half years ago, when I had started with the police department in 1994, or actually when I started in 1994, I would have loved for this to have been given to me day number one. So I think it would have really helped me understand who I am, what drives my decision making. We're in a career field where a lot of times we meet folks and they're not always at their best. It's not their best day. And me being able to understand my emotions and where I'm at that particular time and dealing with someone that's emotionally charged will allow me to really see what's truly before me. When we approached the department, we said, here are our goals. And it's all for for folks to have long, successful careers in which they're happy about the way that they serve. It's about improving customer service, because really that's what we do. We serve, and we have to have a product that gives the best customer service. It allows us and it really helps move us towards becoming culturally competent, because it teaches us how to take different perspectives into account. And that, just because I might see it this way, a person over here might see it differently, doesn't mean it's necessarily wrong. But it allows us to listen better. We're training at the police academy, have been for the last 2 years. Every single officer that comes out of the academy now has that baseline knowledge of what drives their decision making and how to improve their emotional intelligence. And the secret sauce to all this is it's not hard. The key is about being deliberate. If we know where our weaknesses are, we can practice these things and improve upon them. That's the beauty about EQ. EQ changes. If we're deliberate, we can increase it. Man, what makes a great team? Diversity. Diversity, not just ethnicity in our race, but life experiences. Because I may be expert in this particular field, but not be able to talk about the correction side. Well, Justin, he lived that. He was able to experience that, and what makes a holistic program work and be effective is that level of diversity. We have teachers, we have educators, and you're thinking, well, how do educators fit into this law enforcement piece? Well, it's all connected. It's all connected, and we know that if teachers can engage at a high level, from preschool on up, and give some of these principles of emotional intelligence to kids to help them understand, then I think that we're going to see less of them on the law enforcement side in a negative way. We're the only state in the country, in the United States of America, that has this program. I am so proud that it's happening here. I'm so proud that it's happening here with Mountain State. This is historic in nature. We have an opportunity to train every single police officer in this state. And not only are our citizens going to receive a better product when it comes to policing, but families of policing are going to have better husbands, better dads, better brothers, better sisters as a result. And so it's also, and then think about this, on the other side, if they're happy and they're engaged and they're serving at a high level, and because one thing if you ask someone that gets into law enforcement, why did you join? It's to help people, and they get a clearer vision of how to do that, and they're successful. Man, that just there's something about that you can't put money onto. But then you're talking about retention, and when you're talking about recruiting, and if it becomes part of a culture, then it's something that just spreads.